Friday, August 12th, 2022. Friday, August 12th, 2022. It's time to get smart about travel. I'm Rudy Maxa. I'm a travel journalist and broadcaster, and along with my partner, Tommy, here in the blue shirt, every few times a week, we weigh in here with what's hot in travel, what's not hot in travel, and what's going on with anything having to do with travel. I'm a travel journalist and broadcaster, and Tommy is an expert on all kinds of things involving travel, particularly airline routes and points and miles and hotel points and rental cars and cruise lines and that sort of thing. And together we own Maxa, what's it called? MaxaTours.com.
Who's that Maxa guy?
Who's that Maxa guy? Yeah, we have a small group, fairly upscale European travel company. Tommy and I do. Let me see if I can center myself here. And you can find out about it at MaxaTours.com. You can also subscribe to my irregular free travel gossipy newsletter by going to the bottom of MaxaTours.com's page. So there you go. Okay, it is. Keep in mind, this will stay on YouTube and Facebook for time immemorial, but the information we're telling you about is relative to and is current as Friday afternoon, the 12th of August, just as, well, I won't get into politics, but the court just released some documents having to do with the president, former president. Anyway.
Whoa, let's not come in to get into that.
Yeah,
let's start with weather. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going on with weather these days, and it looks like both Germany and also now the UK is having some issues.
Yeah, and France. You know, I got over to France a couple of weeks ago, like a day after the heat wave hit, and it's back. It is back. There's drought is declared in parts of Britain and France is, you know, Paris is in the 90s. They just don't. Most people don't have air conditioning, you know, in England and in France. They're not prepared for this. I mean, modern office buildings do, modern hotels do, but most houses don't have air conditioning in England, or for that matter, in France. And I just talked to my daughter in Cap Ferret, which is in the Bordeaux, southwestern France region near Spain, and the heat wave has hit there, and the fires are back. Which disappeared for a couple of weeks. But she can look out her window and look across the Bay of Arcachon and see black smoke coming up behind Europe's largest sand dune. So there's still some forest burning. So, I mean, I wouldn't stay away from France. I wouldn't stay away from Bordeaux because of that. I'm just saying it. Anyway, it's hot there. So the United States is not the only one having weird weather.
Right.
Okay.
Well, in other news, we see today that so some of you who travel quite frequently might have TSA PreCheck, which I think is one of the best thing ever, where you don't have to take your stuff out of your bags. You don't have to take your shoes off. It's like back in the day. The only thing you can't bring water and liquids through with you. But here now it's becoming more simple. Many of you have, if you have the new type of driver's license, you actually here in California, I know all the airports that I've gone through, you give them your license for any state. They put it in the machine at the TSA. You don't have to show your boarding pass. The only thing you have to give the TSA is their license, is your license. And that's now being rolled out in a new airport screening system, dramatically rolling it out. So good. It should take waits down, significantly at various airports.
Great. That's good. I can't wait till it comes to Minnesota. It's not here yet, but no question about it.
Right. I mean, with the credit to what the feds are doing here, the TSA, and also Customs and Border, CBP, Customs Border Protection as well. In LA right now, I went to Europe recently and I came back home. You don't even show any paperwork or bring anything out of your wallet. You show your face at global entry. And that's it. And then you're through. You don't get a note anymore or anything. So I walked off the plane, took the escalator down to where you usually, for me, I show my green card and or my passport. I have dual citizenship. So and then that you have to do that, and you have to scan your fingers in order to get in. But not anymore. What you're doing now, it's improved over the years. You literally, you walk down, you go up to the machine, it scans your eyes, and you walk through. That's all you do. You literally just stop for a second to scan your eyes, and that's it. Pretty cool, huh?
That's very cool. That reminds me of something I know you and I haven't talked about. Maybe you talked about it when I wasn't on a webcast with you. But Finland is now getting rid of any passport stamps. So if you collect stamps in your passports, you won't get one in Finland at some point. I think they have a deal now with Finland and Croatia or something, where you just hold your passport under a reader and you go through, and there's nobody there to give you a stamp, so you can't remember, oh, that's the time I was in Finland anyway. So yeah, things are simplifying. I just have a real short item. If you're a big fan of Cancun, which by the way, if you didn't know, Cancun was created entirely by computer by the Mexican government to be a resort. They put all this stuff in the computer saying, okay, we want perfect sand, we want this, we want that. And the computer spit out this place called Cancun. So it's now a major resort, as everybody knows. And there's a Ritz-Carlton there, which I'm familiar with. I once went for a tequila tasting weekend at the Ritz-Carlton in Cancun. I think I'm just slightly getting over it now, but it was a very nice hotel. Oh my God, about 100 years ago, I think. Yeah, I'm the oldest guy in the world. I'm the 2,000-year-old traveler. Anyway, Kempinski is taking over the management of Ritz-Carlton. It's first hotel in Mexico, and either Ritz-Carlton didn't think the hotel was up to its standards, or Kempinski came in with a better deal for the owners. There we go.
Yeah, the word on the street is that that Ritz-Carlton took the flag down because it didn't live up to standards. So I hope that Kempinski is trying to do a little bit more than that, but there's not a lot of information. It seems like there's just going to be a flag change next month or in September, and that's going to be it. Okay. So I don't think that we see any improvements of any kind there.
No, but if you have any Ritz-Carlton, I have the hiccups now. That's great. Ritz-Carlton points you want to use in Cancun, go in the next couple of weeks.
That's good advice. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of this place. I hear that Texas politician likes to go there during hurricanes. I've heard. But
yeah, right. I'm not a huge fan of Cancun either. I mean, it's just a long, huge tourist strip. I mean, it was built to be a tourist town, and that's what it is. There ain't no charming village anywhere. I mean, you can go down to see some Inca ruins, and it's a drive away, maybe 45, 50-minute drive. But so it's not
much
without
better
its
to go
charm.
a little bit further south. Either go to what does it call the island? Cozumel is kind of cool. I like it there. And there's this La Petite Lafitte is the oldest hotel a little bit north of Playa del Carmen. It's one of the few hotels that's not an all-inclusive gig, even though they still give you multiple meals there. I love that place. It's been around for a long time. You get these little private huts on the beach that are very inexpensive and very small place, quiet. So
what's it called? What's it called?
La Petite Lafitte, from the pirate story.
Oh, the small pirate. Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
So
all right,
that's
else?
Cool
I know this is fast today. Do we have anything else?
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Europe. The pandemic has taken some toll, some changes on some of the way things are in Europe. Like Norwegian, for example, Airlines has canceled they discontinued and delivered back all of the 787, so they're not doing long haul anymore. And some of the previous employees of Norwegian were some of many that did a startup with a company, a new airline based in Norway called Flyr. Everybody's heard of Norse Atlantic that has now taken over some of the former Norwegian place, but domestically and within Europe, based in and out of Norway and Denmark and Sweden, you now have a new airline called Flyr. And Flyr is what I like about this airline. It's very customer centric. Meaning that when you walk on board a plane, you get a big bottle of water. They hand out a bottle of water to everybody that's on. It's low cost, but it's the only airline, including SAS, Scandinavian Airlines, and Norwegian, that offers a free middle seat between when you have their most expensive ticket, the flexible tickets, which is only in most cases about $30, $50 more. So you have the middle seat open, which on a 737, when there's no first class, is kind of a big deal, especially when you have flights from Scandinavia.
Viewers might not know that you are Norwegian by birth.
I am Norwegian. Flyr means flying in Norwegian.
Is it FLUR? Is it FLUR?
FLYR.
Oh, there's something. Yeah, I can't see on the screen. It looks like
Yeah.
there's something blocking the bottom part of the Y. So I look at it and
They
say
have 12
flyer. You say
planes
fewer.
already delivered. They got more 737 Maxes coming in to being delivered as well. They're doing very well. They had a record last month. The summer is obviously the coolest thing. And now they are, so that it's kind of like Norwegian when they started up in 2003 with 737 operations. Now they focus on giving destinations all over Europe, but now they are focusing on frequency to attract business travelers, which is very interesting. They had a press conference yesterday, and they are, so they have weekly flights between the biggest cities in Norway, 21 now going up to 42 between the two largest cities in Norway, Oslo and Bergen. Oslo, Trondheim, same thing, doubling. Oslo and Bodø, which is a northern Norwegian town, 6 to 12. Yeah, well, you see the list here. So, and they're also opening Kristiansund, which is another town in Norway they're flying to, which is, it's cool to see this year. I really like this little airline. I think they got something going on. I think it's cool. So one to watch if you're going to be in Scandinavia and traveling.
Okay, and Norse, Norse, is now flying, as of I think yesterday, nonstop from between Los Angeles and Norway. So
yeah, so they're flying so Norse has been in business for a couple of months. They are flying between Norway or from Oslo to JFK, Oslo to Orlando, Oslo to Fort Lauderdale, and now Oslo to Los Angeles.
Yeah, they're sort of replacing Norwegian. Yeah,
right. And they're also opening, they have a base in Berlin, where there's Berlin to LA, Berlin to JFK, Berlin to Florida also. And then, of course, London Gatwick is also open, same destinations there. Interesting to see.
Okay, who's restarting flights to Russia?
Yeah, so Wizz Air. So we're talking about Wizz Air is a very large European, Hungarian low cost carrier, and it doesn't surprise you when you think about what Hungary is today and what's going on over there. That they have a daughter company. This one is 51% owned. Wizz Air Abu Dhabi is one of two daughter companies. They have one in the UK, which was made because of Brexit, and then they have one which is made is based in Abu Dhabi, and that is the one that's going to start flying again up to Moscow because of demand. Now, it's interesting to see that 51% of this daughter company is owned by a company controlled by the UAE government. So what kind of signal does that send?
Now, are they flying from Dubai or from Hungary?
They're flying from Abu Dhabi to Moscow.
Well, it tells you that some people are playing both sides of the fence.
Yeah, and the UAE seems to be doing that. Although worth mentioning that neither Emirates or Etihad flies. They've canceled all of their flights to Russia. So, it's a little bit disappointment. And also that's worth mentioning that the Norwegian Oil Fund is one of the largest shareholder with almost 3% of Wizz Air, the holding company. And I am not, I think that there's going to be implications because of this, but it'll be interesting to see.
Okay.
The last thing I have is British Airways is again reducing the silver status requirement. So if you have status with British Airways, they've been helping out through the pandemic and lowering the number of tier points. They have a different earning system than we have for the American programs. It's completely separate, the tiers that you think. So but this right now it's 600 tier points, and to give an indication of how hard or easy it is to get. LA to London is 140 tier points. You get that. So it's like 2 round trip tickets in business class is enough to get the silver status. And silver status is the same as American Platinum. So it's One World Sapphire. So you get into the Admirals Club, and you also get into the various lounges now, right? So now it's half off, but this renewal here is only you get half off. You only need 300 tier points. So in reality, if you have a connecting flight in Europe, so if you fly, let's say you're flying from Sacramento, where I live, down to LA, and then you fly over to Europe, to London, and then you go back the same way, that's enough tier points so it's just 1 round trip in business class. But the catch is that you have to have status irrelevant. It's only for renewals. It's not for new customers. New customers gets 25% reduction. So you need for until the end of the year, you can qualify for 450 tier points. So it looks like it's some of it's. I think that most of the other companies have kind of ended the whole COVID help when it comes to travel. I think that this is kind of interesting that British Airways have decided they must have had many customers that have not renewed.
Yep. All right, one very, very short thing. I know we're going to go, but to make this quick today because it's Friday, but New York is looking at imposing a congestion driving charge for Manhattan, parts of Manhattan, at least the central part. I mean, this is not uncommon in some large cities, even some small cities like Florence has it, but they're going to study it. It's not impending, but you shouldn't drive your car to Manhattan anyway if you're going to visit New York from out of state. I mean, Tommy earlier today said, "Who drives to Manhattan?" I said, "People from Ohio, my home state. People from Ohio drive to New York."
Well, when you park outside of the city and you take the train in.
Right, because if you park in the city, you're going to pay as much as a hotel night would cost you in Chillicothe, Ohio, like $140 a night to park in a commercial lot in Midtown Manhattan. So don't drive to Manhattan, but as an added disincentive at some point to driving is they'll have a congestion charge that you'll automatically billed by your license plate as you come into town for as a way to obviously end traffic. That's it. That's everything I got.
Just like London has done for half a decade now already. I think that's a great idea. Is it just for tourists or is it for everybody?
I think it's for everybody.
Great. I love it.
Well, it's still, they got to work out the kinks and the dates, and it's not happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, so 12th of August, 2022. That's what we got. Thanks for tuning in and watching us. We'll see you next week.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
All right.